Broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us today for today's session. I just want to go over a bit of housekeeping before we actually get into the actual seminar. Everybody is on mute for the duration of today's session. If you do have a question though, you can use the question dialog box in the GoToWebinar interface. We'll be monitoring those questions throughout the session, and we're going to save some time, hopefully, at the end to answer any questions you have about anything we discussed today. The other thing is we're going to record today's session, so if for some reason a colleague wasn't able to make it, or you wanted to maybe review this after the session, we are going to be sending it out in an email to everyone who registered. So the last thing is, if you have any technical difficulties, also please just mention that, and we'll try to get those sorted as we go. All right, so before we jump into today's topic, I just wanted to cover a bit about Jonas Club software. A lot of you on the line today are probably familiar with some of Jonas Club software's products and services, but we're actually made up of 13 different brands. And our brands can be divided up into 3 different categories, including the back office software brands. Some of you are probably familiar with Jonas Club Management, Jonas Encore, and Club Systems Group. We also have our online brands here in the red. These would be Members First and Clubhouse Online. And then we also have some value-added services and technology, and they're in the green here, and they include Member Insight, which is a member survey platform. We have Metrics First, which is a business intelligence platform, as well as ClubPay, which is an outsourced HR and payroll provider. So if you take all of these brands, we have about 5,000 installations of our technology around the world, and our company is made up of about 250 employees. Now, we are the market leader within the club industry, taking up about 54% of the market, and we have a very high retention rate. So most of our customers and clients do stay with us year over year. And this next slide is a really great illustration of how our software was built. So we're a fully integrated enterprise management system. And what that means is all of the different business units within a club use the same platform, and they use an integrated membership database. So whether you work in the golf shop, like many of you today, or maybe you're in the food and beverage side of the business, you're going to be using software that's integrated with each other. And this has its benefits. And today we're going to focus on some of the technology that can help out in the golf shop. So before we just get started on that, I just want to introduce myself. I am Trevor Kluke, the Senior Marketing Associate at Jonas Club Software. So my role is to market all of those brands that you saw on that previous wheel. And joining me today is Matt Betts. Matt, do you want to just briefly introduce yourself?
Yeah, thanks, Trevor. Yeah, my name is Matt Betts. I've been with the Jonas team since 2008, so that's going on, well, 12 plus years now, 15 years now almost. Been in the golf business for, if you can see, I'm not an old man, only 42 years old, but I've been in the golf business for 33 years. So I started when I was 9. I'm the son of a golf pro, so I've been around life, and kind of cleaning clubs and changing grips and all that stuff from before the 80s was a wonderful time with the child labor laws, not what they were. So so happy to be here, and looking forward to showing you guys a few tips and tricks that we got up our sleeves.
Awesome, thanks, man. And also we have another former golf professional joining us, Mike Lee. Mike, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, Mike Lee here. I am the account manager for all of Canada. A little bit about me. I'm a graduate of the Georgian College Bachelor of Business Golf Management program here in Ontario, Canada. Like Matt, I also have a few years in the golf industry, probably not as many as him. But under my belt, I've got some various roles, including assistant professional, administrative assistant, turf, back shop, really you name it, I've done it in the golf world. I joined Jonas in 2016 as a support representative, and recently transitioned over to an account manager back in early 2020.
Nice. So I think we're really lucky today because in most webinars that we run, we have a lot of technology experts on the line. But to have actually people who have worked in the situations and have faced some of the challenges that we're going to discuss today is going to be a big help. So for today's actual agenda, here are the things that we're going to kind of cover. First, I want to take a look at what 2020 and the pandemic brought about in golf and how it actually resulted in a surge in participation, and how that new trend and popularity of the sport has affected golf shops, which many of you probably experienced last year. And then we'll take a look at some of the technology trends and the technology that can hopefully help you going into 2021. When I was putting together this presentation, I was flipping through my phone for some golf photos from last year, and this one just jumped right out at me. This is my local driving range. Coincidentally, it's actually right beside Mike's high school. He let me know. And this line is something I'd never encountered before. I've played golf for 15 years, and this driving range probably has capacity for 150 golfers at a given time. And these people were lining up just to buy a bucket, and I experienced this all throughout last year. And recently, the NGF released a report, detailing the actual numbers that came with this new surge in popularity. Last year, we saw a 14 year-over-year increase in rounds played, and this was despite, for a lot of areas, having March and April course shutdowns. This jump, was significant because in those March and April months, we usually see about 20 million rounds of golf played. So the net gain over the remaining months was about 60 million rounds over 2019. And that's going to have a huge impact on private clubs as well as the number of new golfers coming into the sport. We had about 500,000 new on-course golfers in 2020, which is great news for the private club golfers because these hopefully new players are eventually going to lead to new members. So what I'd first like to do here is turn it over to you guys and ask you a poll question. You're going to see this come up in the dialog box. So I'd like to know, did your golf club experience an increase in rounds played during the 2020 season? I'll give you 10 seconds or so to answer that question. You should see it on your screen now. All right, I'm just going to close that off. Okay, so for those of you who voted, we had a 100% increase in rounds played, which is it's not surprising, but I didn't expect it to be 100%, but that's great news. It means your members were active and getting out, and I'm sure a lot of those were new members that had joined the club just last year. Now, how did this new surge in rounds played and popularity affect golf shops? Well, I think we can break it down by the different responsibilities that golf shops have to service their members. First, starting with tee time management. So obviously with an increase in demand, there comes a need for more organization of your members, getting them out onto the first tee. I joined the Golden State chapter of the CMAA meetings in early 2020, March and April, when the pandemic was first, shutting down clubs. And for a lot of clubs, when they were able to reopen, they had to introduce tee times for the first time. A lot of them had walk-up play only. So that kind of surprised me because I'd maybe made a bad assumption that most clubs had tee times. Mike and Matt are going to kind of show us how some clubs have had to implement new tee time practices to serve this new popularity and rounds played. Then if you go inside the shop, we also see that golf shop sales were affected in 2020 by the shutdown. You know, with so many areas around the country not being allowed to open up, golf shops might have had to stay closed despite golf courses and being able to play. So this created a demand for golf shops to be able to sell hard goods and soft goods, you know, in different ways. And we'll talk about maybe some of the online trends that we're seeing with selling goods from your pro shop. With a lot of new golfers and new members, that also creates a demand for people wanting to improve. As a avid player myself, last year I experienced how popular my golf instructor was. It was very difficult to get a time with him. I was having to book anywhere from about a month to a month and a half in advance. And he basically said it was the busiest year he's ever had. And I heard that from a few other friends in the business. So we'll take a look at some ways that golf pros are using technology to better manage their time and help their students. And this last one is actually something that we had noticed trending even prior to 2020 with the pandemic. A lot of clubs are starting to have indoor simulators, TrackMan, GC Quad launch monitors, and the demand for these is only going to grow. And we noticed that with more and more demand, again, comes the need for clubs to be able to book these for their members, or members to actually be able to book them themselves so they can access them when they want to. So those areas have definitely kind of seen how golf surge in popularity in 2020 puts new responsibilities and challenges on golf shops. And I now want to kind of switch gears and go into how technology can help us better serve those members and make life a little bit easier for you that are working in the golf shop. So guys, taking a look first at tee time management, with the increased demand, what are some of the different things that you guys were helping clubs with last year that might be able to help some of the clubs in 2020 as far as technology to deal with this new surge in popularity?
Right. I guess one of the things I guess we've seen a lot of clubs needing online tee times, needing to bring all these things online, right? You can't just take them in anymore, on the fly. So we've seen a huge increase in clubs looking or needing an online tee time reservation system of some sort. Some clubs that already had an online tee time system now needing a lottery system to disperse those tee times. No tee time clubs needing a tee time reservation system as well. Not want to take phone calls, do it all online, which is kind of the way the world is going. Same goes for lessons, a number of different things. So seen a huge increase in all those things in the last little bit.
And Matt, would you also agree that because there was a lot of new members joining clubs last year, and we'll probably still see that trend continuing into 2021, that the new member is probably looking for a convenience to book tee times on their own. So being able to use it on a mobile app or do it on their own time.
Absolutely. Just for instance, the club I used to work at, I'm still close with the guys over there. With no slow pitch, no baseball, men's, beer league baseball and that sort of thing. They've added 90 new members this year, all in that younger demographic, right? In their 30s or 40s, some of their 20s and so on. Nothing else to do, no other activities, no travel, that sort of thing. So they've got money, they've got time, and that younger demographic, they're just used to booking everything online, having an app, being able to make a dinner reservation, do whatever they do in their normal life, do their online banking.
Right.
They want to communicate with the club in the very same manner.
So would you be able to show us kind of quickly how an online tee time would be made using Clubhouse Online's online tee sheet?
Absolutely, Trevor. Let me share my screen. Actually, I should be able to take over. Let me just share my screen here. Hold on here. Sorry, running into a little issue here with the screen share.
That's all right. Do you need me to?
Yeah, I think you might need to. I think you might have to. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
I did this yesterday and it didn't worked okay, but today we had a little issue there. So you should see my screen up there. Does everybody see
Yep.
my Graceland's website?
Yep.
Perfect. Cool. So from here, we'll navigate members to the online tee sheet. Our process is pretty simple. If you are typically default to just a one course if you're an 18 facility like most clubs are out there. But if you have multiple courses, members would be able to choose the course that they wish to play on and select the day they want to make a booking for. Based on your rules, if it's 3 days out for social members and 7 days out for full members, we can help you follow all that protocol. Members want to filter out by time of day or kind of range of day, they can do that. Look for all times or only ones that are available. If you wanted to allow or want to allow a single or a twosome to drop in with another group if there's space, we can do that. If you wanted to block off that option where you couldn't join in with another group, then we can also help you out there as well. Our tee sheet's very flexible. We do crossovers, first tee, 10th tee, first tee. A lot of different scenarios that a lot of clubs have out there, so we can accommodate that. And those things, I understand those things change on a day-to-day or week-to-week basis, so we can help out with that as well. Then from there, a member can go in there. They can click on the actual time and book a group on the fly, or we can do a quick book where we can say, I'm going to be bringing, 1, 2, 3, 4 players and fill them all in as TBDs. Or I can have a group, I normally play with the same group of guys on Saturday. I can select that group. And then from there, that auto fill out my players for me. We also track player preferences or options, such as does this person normally take a cart? Do they walk? Do they use a pull cart? Do they have a caddy normally? You can track all that stuff here under player preferences. Any notes we want to put in here? Van will ride with Shannon. Brandy will ride with Roger. And then from there, we can book now. That's going to feed right into tee time management in your back office. That's connected to POS. So if there's any charges, guest fees, cart fees, anything like that, that's all attached. So you will not miss any charges. The club's going to receive all the revenue that you have and the reporting that comes out to it, utilization reports, what are your busy times, slower times, just to help you with forecasting as well reporting for your boards and your general managers when you need to do that on a monthly or quarterly or annual basis. That stuff will all be there to help you get that data, that information out when you need it.
Nice. So you also mentioned that lottery times are kind of becoming something that clubs have implemented.
Yeah.
Do you have that? Can you show us kind of how that would work?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do that real quick. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to switch really quickly to one of our courses that has a lottery set up.
We had a question come in, I noticed, about clubs. A club had a lot of demand for specific times, probably Saturday, Sunday. So I'm guessing setting up a lottery is a way to avoid disappointing a lot of golfers week after week.
Right, absolutely, and that's what we're seeing a lot of with those busy clubs, right? And the lottery is something that we can configure on weekends, right? Maybe you just you don't need a lottery Monday through Friday, but weekends and holidays you need to have that lottery configured, so we can do that. Probably doing that lottery from opening till 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock in the morning on Saturdays and Sundays. And then we'll open it up for free time or just normal booking afterwards. So we can do all that. So I've moved to a course here that has a lottery booking. Same process here. We can request a time, let's say 8:15. The member would be able to go in here and say, the earliest you can set a parameter where maybe it's 15, maybe we're looking for 8 o'clock. It's going to automatically default to an hour before or an hour and after. That preferred time is going to be that acceptable range. We can give the member an option though to expand or contract on that, whatever it might be. And then from there, again, we can go in here and we can build a group on the fly, just do a little roster, add in guest if I want, capture guests, first name, last name, email address, maybe use that from a marketing perspective down the road, throw in my buddies and groups as well, those people I play with on a regular basis. I think I have some here, so throw that in there. That'll fill out my group then. Again, any notes I want to put in there. I'll then go ahead and submit the request. So we can see here, plain as day, it said submit request. Then you in the golf shop, you'll be able to run that lottery when you want to. And before it's live and up and visible to the member and those times are released and they know when they're playing, you would be able to jig it around and, maybe you want to put your board president out a little bit earlier, or you want to make sure that you got some, some known slow, fast players up ahead of some players that, might be a little bit on the turtle slower side of things. So you'll have a little bit of control over that way. It could be just a completely random lottery. We can also do it as a weighted system where, if I get my preferred time this week, I'm going to have less points or less weight next week. And the person that was, an hour and a half off of their preferred time, they may have a little bit more weight when we get around to running that lottery the next time. So it's up to you. You want it to be weighted, completely random, or have some control over it. We get a lot of those options because I know there's a lot of scenarios that come into play with groupings and so on. So we're able to help you out there, whatever you might need.
How are the members notified if they've received the time?
Yeah, good question. So as soon as the lottery is run and alive and official, members would get an email notification with their preferred time. If they do have if your club is using our mobile app and the member has push notifications turned on and allowing you to send them push notifications, they could also receive that notification or that tee time through the mobile app as well.
Cool. Okay. So now I kind of want to flip it back over to the golf professionals that we have on the line here. I'm just going to take control of the presentation, Matt. And I've got another poll question for everybody, which is going to come up in the go-to webinar dialogue. So you should see it coming up shortly. But the question is, which tee time management methods does your club currently use? So we know we have a lot of clubs that are using no tee times in the past. Maybe you're using a paper tee sheet. Members have to call into the pro shop to request a time. Maybe you're using a tee time software like Jonas Club Management Tee Times, or you have already implemented an online tee times solution. So you should be able to see that up on your screen now. I'll give you a few seconds to answer. All right, I'm going to close that off now. Okay, this is interesting because compared to the first question, we've got a lot more variability. We have about 7% of the people online or on the line today said no tee times. 15% said that they use a paper tee sheet. 7% are using a tee time software just in the golf shop, but the majority of you are 70% of you are using online tee times already. So I would imagine that everybody using online tee times also allow members to use mobile app and access that on their own time, which is great. All right, so another thing that the golf shop is dealing with this surge in popularity in regards to golf shop sales is, the limited number of people that might be allowed in at one time into the golf shop. Maybe you had to remain closed for a portion of last year, but as you open up, the need or the demand for being able to order your goods online is probably still going to be there. So last year, Jonas Club Software made some enhancements to a product that we had overwhelming popularity with for food and beverage called online ordering. And we made some enhancements so that that product could actually be used in the golf shop. Mike and Matt, just wanted to ask you guys, what are some of the cool features or benefits that online ordering was enhanced so that it could be used in the pro shop last year?
Yeah, traditionally we actually built the online ordering application more with the food and beverage perspective in mind, and then when COVID hit, we had to transition, curbside pickup for orders, things like that, which really was a big push for golf pros and clubs. So we made some transitions, just to tie in with point of sale in different areas aside from food and beverage. Some modifiers or some ways where we could, get across, what the shaft flex might be, shoe size might be versus, what are the toppings that you want in a hamburger. So just a few little tweaks here and there just to really fit more of a perspective with that online ordering application.
And so from what I understand, Matt, is because it's tied into the point of sale that you already have in the golf shop, you don't have to duplicate work when you're putting your kind of online offering up on the website. It's going to pull in the SKUs that you want to display on the web. Is that right?
That's right, exactly. Cost, all that stuff that gets brought over right up the POS when the member does when they do submit an order. That's going to go right into your pro shop, right into your POS terminal, and then from there you can close it out. It's going to charge the member charge. Typically, if you wanted to do it by cash or credit or apply any sort of gift certificates, you can do that as well. But the nice thing is it's one system, all connected to POS, inventory, whatever the case might be.
Right. Do you want to show us quickly how you can make an order, just so it would be what it would be like for a member?
Surely.
I'll just.
Can you give me control again?
Yeah, for sure.
Perfect. All right. So I'm going to go to online ordering. As you said, we've got this under our with our food, but we can partition this out to be just maybe under the golf shop side of things. So you're going to have your different outlets set up in here, and we're going to direct your member to your golf pro shop or whatever you want to call it. Different ordering types, curbside pickup, whatever you want to name. You can have as many of these as you wish and name them whatever you want. So it might be, curbside or pickup or place in my locker or ship to me, delivery, whatever it is. We can ask custom questions. For instance, is this a gift? Don't have to have that. You can call it something else if you wanted to as well. If we're doing curbside pickup, you might want to know, what your make and number your car or whatever the case might be. If we want to have all the orders go through right now, we can do that. If we want to have folks place orders in the future, we can do that. Let's just leave this as an immediate one though. From there, we'll move along. We can see all of our different items that we're offering, pants, shirts, clubs, whatever it is, golf balls, you name it. Could be gift certificates, lesson packages, whatever it might be. I'm going to choose a pair of golf shoes. From here, we can have different menu modifiers. So this is more used typically on the F&B side of things. So there's going to be some modification potentially to some of your point of sale items to include some of those modifiers and different options available. So, you know, for a driver, is it left-handed, right-handed? What shaft do you want? What shaft flex, what loft, what lie, what set configuration? We can build out those modifiers to whatever you're going to need that for. Select their shoe size, move along. Then from there, our order is complete. We're going to check out. And, you know, any notes, please place in my locker, whatever it might be. From there, I'm going to submit that order. That's going to go through. You're just going to close that out on point of sale. Member's going to build, and then when the order is ready and available, if it's a custom order or if it's just something they actually do have in stock, we can just pull it out and you can throw that in the locker, leave it behind the counter for their next visit, toss it in their golf bag, ship it out, whatever it might be.
That's cool. We got some questions coming in too that we'll try to address afterwards. So thanks for submitting those, guys, and thanks, Matt. We'll hopefully have some answers for you shortly. Now, that's, you know, helping your members buy some of the goods and services that you offer. But another area that we noticed last year is, you know, the delays and maybe some of the revenues coming in. And one way to kind of get your revenues up front is to use something like prepaid services. I'm just going to take control again here. And Mike, I know that this is an area of your expertise, where clubs can offer their members, you know, packages and things. So prepaid services are applicable to, you know, some of the things like golf lessons, cart packages, guest fees, etc.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, for those who aren't really familiar, Jonas has the option for, Jonas has the option of a prepaid services module, and that can be found both in the Encore and the Jonas Club Management suite of modules. And like Trevor said, it's a great tool for things like card packages, lessons packages, green fees, guest fee packages, whatever you'd like. And it allows members to purchase a package up front, potentially at a discount if you'd like, which can then be drawn down on as members come in and use them up. So all purchase and historical information is then obviously going to be stored directly to the member's account itself. Right off the bat, a few points to mention with the prepaid services module. Right now, it cannot be sold to non-members. So it's strictly to members that exist within the member file. It can also be sold as an open item, which essentially allows you to have all prepaid services prices set at the time of selling it through the point of sale. Unlike gift certificates, there aren't going to be any special certificates that are printed out through the point of sale. Instead, a chit is created detailing the sale of the prepaid service in the same manner as any other sale. And a unique prepaid service database is then updated with the specific details of that transaction, which can be reviewed in an inquiry section of the module. And really, the prepaid services module isn't set strictly for your pro shop. So when you purchase the module, you get up to 10 prepaid service books, and that can be shared amongst other departments as well. So if your F&B department wants to use it for any prepaid packages that they want to set up, they can do so. So Trevor, if you want to,
I'll just give you some. Yep, I'll give you the power here.
There we go. Everyone can see my screen. All right.
Yeah,
so the first thing we'll take a look at is the setup of the items. Within here, in my example, I have my 10 cart fee package. So we'll have two items, one for the issuing and one for the redemption. As you can see, again, it's a 10 cart fee package. It's going to be $20 per, so 20 times the 10 Within here, you'll be able to set up the redemption item, as well as the default package quantity, and if you want to have an expiry date. So you have the option to not have it expire on a specific date in your calendar, or a set number of days after that purchase has been made. So there are a few ways to actually get the prepaid packages to the member. First option is going to be through fee billings. So when you have your annual fee billings or your monthly fee billings, you do have the option to include a prepaid service package. Once that fee billing is sold, that member will then automatically receive whatever prepaid service you've set up within here. The second option, through the prepaid services module, you'll be able to issue it from the back end either to a specific member, or if you'd like, to a specific status, so issuing that service in bulk. And then third, probably the most popular, is going to be through the point of sale. So if I pull up any member here, as you'll see, we have our issuing button and our redemption button. I'm going to issue that. It's going to show us our certificate number. And I'm going to settle and close that just like normal. Now, if we pull up that member again, Mr. Anderson comes in, he's going to play 18 today, and he wants to use up one of his prepaid card packages. We're going to hit the redemption button. We can redeem, and then from here, we'll be able to see the outstanding quantity and the outstanding amounts. I'll proceed with that. It's going to be a $0 chip, and we're off, and we can close that just like normal. One thing, as I mentioned earlier, if you do want to run an inquiry to see the history of that prepaid, there is an inquiry button within here, which will show us the initial date it was sold, their certificate number, and then their outstanding balance for that book. Trevor?
Oh, thanks, Mike. I think this kind of leads into the next thing that I was speaking about earlier. I'm just going to take control back here. We talked about how a lot of people were looking for lessons. Prepaid services are one of those things that lets people purchase a lessons package. I guess what I'd like to know, with so many members, new golfers looking to book lessons with instructors, what are some ways that golf instructors can be better organized, maybe give their members a little bit more convenience, trying to find time with them? Because I know I was sending texts back and forth with my golf instructor, and I felt sometimes like it was, tedious for him to have to reply to me. I'm guessing some kind of online platform could be quite helpful. Like we have an appointment booking platform, which I believe could be used.
Right, exactly. So yeah, booking lessons online, that's another thing we've seen a huge uptick in. That's how big way that people want to communicate, want to book things. I think you mentioned before too, Trevor, it took you quite a long period of time trying to book lessons with your instructor that you work with on a regular basis, back and forth with text and trying to organize that stuff. So this is just one way to kind of streamline this. The nice thing about our online appointment booking too is that members would be able to book online, book through the app that we're providing, but the staff, yourself and your other golf professionals would be able to manage their schedule, book in a member, block off some time, open up some more time for lesson and teaching as well through the app, wherever they might be. They don't have to be in just to do those things. So it's very flexible from both ends of things. And then it also does tie in with POS. So if there's any deal where, member charge, doing those lessons on member charge, we can, it ties in with that as well to make things really simple and streamlined in that regard as well.
Cool. All right. So I think based on time, we've had a lot of questions coming in. So I just want to make sure that we get to everything we wanted to cover today. the last kind of thing that we wanted to talk about was just briefly simulators and kind of how, you know, members are looking for access to these. And I think a lot of clubs are looking to have to maybe, you know, introduce bookings. I've actually had a question come in regarding booking simulators during our talk of tea times. So is there some different ways that clubs can maybe, you know, organize their simulators with technology so that bookings are easier?
Yeah, definitely. So like you mentioned earlier, things like TrackMan, Foresight, and many other golf simulator technologies are now being utilized more often at private clubs. Obviously, off-season practice is in high demand, and as a result, so has the need for booking access. So although at this point we don't have a module specific to simulator bookings, we do have several modules that can be utilized depending on what services your club currently offers. So modules like tee time management, jam appointment bookings, jam court bookings are all modules that clubs have used to allow members to reserve simulator times, again, whether that's through your website, your mobile app, or your back office. The best bet, if you are looking for a simulator booking tool, would be to connect with your local account manager who knows your club and who has access to your module listings and what you're currently using, and they can determine what can work best specific to your club and your setup.
Yeah, that makes sense, especially if there's a few different solutions out there that might, you know, better suit one club versus another. We can't really tell everybody to use the same one.
Exactly.
Now, the one thing I will say that I think from everything we've covered today, all this technology, especially on the member side, is something that's available on a mobile app. So we really want to tailor everything to make it as easy and as accessible as possible. The Clubhouse Online website platform does come with a free mobile app, so that if you have any of these booking modules on your website, those will also be included in that free mobile app. Matt, anything you want to mention about push notifications or anything that the mobile app is really, you know, great for the golf shop to use?
Yeah, good question. So I guess, yeah, number one would be push notifications. It's just an easy way to get messages out to your members, as well as confirmations for booking a tee time, booking a lesson. They'd be able to get that quick message from their app, maybe a pro shop sale, a blast, event coming up. You need, you know, tournament, that sort of thing, sign up. That's been really important. One other thing with the app that's nice in some areas of the club is a digital member card. So on the app, there'd be a, you know, replacing a physical member card, be a QR code or a barcode. You can have a 2D scanner at the golf shop, have them just tap that, and then that will then bring up their profile in Jonas. You can see, you know, who they are, all the notes, details about that certain member, and then you know, and then whatever website applications, modules, or reservations that the website's providing, that would all be in the mobile app as well, which is a nice feature for the members that they're, you know, generally used to,
right,
with other aspects of life. So,
and they can edit those reservations and whatnot right from there as well.
Yeah, exactly. So the same functionality that they have on the website, members would have in the app. There's no difference at all, no duplication of work from the staff's perspective. The app and the website work in tandem. They work together. They update together. So it's really all one unit, and just an easier access point for the members to get there.
Nice. So we've covered a lot of different, you know, technology that we think is going to be in demand in 2021, and I want to throw it back out to everybody on the line, to the golf professional, and kind of find out which of these you feel like are going to be the most useful or necessary for your club coming into 2021. So I'm just going to launch another poll here, and you'll see the dialog box hopefully open from GoToWebinar. The question just is, you know, which of the following applications would help your golf shop in 2021? And you don't have to choose just one of these answers. You can choose multiple if you feel like there's a couple on there that you think you might be looking to add, or maybe you already have and want to enhance. But we'd love to know to see if we've kind of hit the mark. So I'll just give you a few seconds to answer that poll. And I'm going to take a look at all of the great questions that we've had coming in here so we can hopefully get to some of those. All right, just going to give you 5 more seconds, and I'm just going to close this off. All right, so the results show that we have a lot of people looking potentially at, online ordering could be a big help for their golf shop. Lessons management is also pretty popular. Golf simulator bookings, which again, we think that's kind of becoming the new norm at golf clubs, especially if you're seasonal and you want to have people be able to come in and practice throughout the winter season. But yeah, let's take a look at some of these questions that came in, because there seems to be some kind of themes that appeared over and over. So I'm going to
got one here.
Yeah,
off the hop here, Trevor.
Go for it, Mike.
Question came in, can a T-sheet be set up to have different booking windows for different classes of membership? For example, full golf members can be booked 3 days in advance, but social members can only book 1 day in advance. So this is definitely possible in the Tee Time module. We have something called a golfer classification that's set up. And within there, you'd be able to select how many days in advance they can book. And that golfer classification can also be tied to a specific member, a specific status, or a specific fee billing.
Okay, so you can get very granular on who can and can't book tee times.
Exactly, yep.
One of the other kind of themes that came up that I noticed was regarding the online ordering application. And it seems like everybody is very interested in the inventory aspect. So if somebody is ordering a specific size, does the online ordering application know what size is in inventory? Or it could be a golf shaft or different types of SKUs. Do you have to load a different SKU for every item size? Or are there different ways to configure that, Matt? Or either of you actually?
Yeah, I guess you want to take this, Mike?
Yeah, so there are a few different ways. Really, option number one, you can have every item in your online ordering outlet. So your men's Under Armour shirt small, your men's Under Armour shirt medium, so on and so forth. But that can get pretty cluttered. Second option, like Matt showed, we can use prep options. So instead of prompting for how you want your steak cooked, you can prompt for what color or what size of shirt you want. And then the third option, you can just include it in the notes section. As Matt showed, there is a field where you can include specific notes. Within there, you can have a little notification saying, please enter whatever shirt size, whatever shirt color you'd like. It doesn't necessarily tie back into inventory, however.
Right. Okay. So, do you know if prep options have a? Can you set limits on those?
We cannot.
You cannot. Okay. So another one has come in regarding the handicap system and tee times. Does the Jonas tee sheet link to the GIN handicap system? Can the system send reminders for people who have not posted a score?
Yep, definitely it does. We in Canada, it can link to GolfNet, and then in the States, it links to GIN or GIN, whatever you want to call it. It is a free module. So what you can do is reach out to our support team and just say, hey, we want to link our club to Jonas, and then from there, anytime a member goes out and plays but doesn't enter a score, you can have a missing scores report sent out to them or your handicap committee, just showing who hasn't been entering their scores.
Okay. Another one regarding tee times. Is it possible to have a restriction on members that book multiple tee times on different courses at the same time, and then choose which time they want after blocking other members from making reservations. So I'm guessing maybe some members are putting in multiple reservations at the same time on a multi-course facility, and then holding those times until they choose which course they want to play that day, potentially.
Yeah. That's a great question. There is the option within the setup of your tee time to have a daily interval restriction for individual bookings. That's going to be across all your courses. So if you want to have it so that members can't book within 4 hours after their last booking, you can set it up that way. However, I don't know if sorry, Trevor, what was the second part of that question?
The question is that I guess, member is booking the same time on 2 different courses, and it's blocking other members from being able to book at that time when the member is probably only going to use one of those tee times. They can't be at 2 places at once.
Yeah, so again, within the options, the system profile of your tee time, you'd be able to set up that daily interval restriction, and that'll prevent them from booking the same time twice at 2 separate courses.
Okay. So if the club has our tee time,
Our system.
Yep. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, systems kind of cross-reference other applications that we have as well. So if you're signed up for an event through the calendar and trying to book a tee time or have a dinner reservation at a certain time, trying to book a tee time, it's going to pick up on that and help restrict that as well, based on your setup and how you want it to control those things. So there's a couple ways we can certainly help there.
Okay. And if you have a tee time management application already, I'm assuming that support would be able to help you kind of set up some of these more nuanced settings.
Definitely.
Okay. This is a good question, actually. If we already have the online ordering application for the food and beverage area, can we use the same online ordering application in the pro shop?
Definitely.
Yes.
Yep. It's
Absolutely.
It's just a matter of setting up a new sales area and then going into the back end online ordering setup, creating that sales area, and then adding whatever items you'd like. But again, like Trevor just mentioned, give our support team a call. They'll be able to walk you through that setup.
And just to clarify, Prepaid Services is an application that they can add, Mike? It's not something that's already in club management?
It's an add-on module, yeah.
Okay. Here's one regarding lessons, which we haven't had any others. Does a member need to be set up in Jonas to have access to be able to book lessons? So I guess the question is, do they have to actually have a member account at the club to be able to book using the online lessons platform?
Yes, they do. They do.
So if you're
a member.
Yep, go ahead, Matt. Sorry.
Yeah, it's member-only booking tool. So it is for the member access. Now, I know some clubs where they'll set up temporary members or members with a certain status, and it might be lessons or lesson clients, where they would be able to log into the website or have access to the app to book lessons with you or your other pros. They wouldn't, maybe you could restrict what they would be able to see within the app and within the website and hide, sensitive membership information, the roster, and the event calendar. They don't necessarily need to know what's going on or be able to sign up for those things. We could just grant them access to the lesson management or appointment booking tool to book those lessons with you.
With that said, though, I mean, you still have the option to have non-members call into the shop or call the pro and then add that appointment or lesson into the back end calendar.
Right.
Okay, we have a lot of other questions, but what I'm going to suggest we do is everybody that's joined us today has an account manager in their region. I'm going to make sure that the questions get distributed to the right people so that we can follow up with you if we didn't answer your question directly. And if you, a few people have been asking for demos on specific things, prepaid services, and some of the more, detailed tea time management questions. I will either get a support rep to get in touch with you or your local account manager. But I think that's for today, all the time we have. One thing I do want to mention to everybody on the line is that we will be holding some focused conference sessions coming in March. So please keep an eye on your email. We're going to be sending out the announcement for that. It's over 2 days. It's free to attend, and there's going to be a lot of opportunities to learn from many different Jonas experts. And we're hoping that it's going to give you some great takeaways to bring back to your club. So I just want to thank everybody for taking the time today. We did go a little bit longer than I expected, but hopefully that was to everyone's benefit on the line. And we'll hopefully see you on the next webinar. But have a great day, everybody.